Hi guys, I'm Phil Town from Real One Investing, and today I want to talk to you about short and long-term capital gains and why it's important to invest with a long-term mindset. Real important. Capital gains is one of the most important terms that you got to learn. I mean, people, throw it around, but you need to understand what it is because, it sounds like something investors want, but there are downsides depending on the investment strategy. And I was just dealing with this intensely on a company that I bought 9 months ago, and it's doubled already. Okay. So you guys know back in March, we had this huge market crash. I jumped into the market and I was able to buy some great companies massively on sale. Not as many as I wanted because I thought it would keep going down. And not everything was on sale, but this one was. And it's already doubled. And holy smokes, we got to know what to do about this. So if you invest like, experts do using our strategies, rule number one, then short-term gains really aren't what we want. And a short-term gain is a gain where you've held the business less than a year and a day. That's a short-term gain. And what that means is when you have a short-term gain, you are going to pay taxes as if you just went to your job and got paid at your job. So you're just going to pay ordinary income taxes on that gain. So capital gains, long-term capital gains, are the taxes you'd pay if you held that stock for a year and a day. Then you get to pay long-term gains. So it's really important to understand the difference, and particularly if you're making money and you're in the top tax bracket and you live in some place like California where, the top bracket's paying 13% at the state and probably at least 43% at the federal level, you're looking at a 56% tax load on incremental income. If you take investments in at short-term gains, you can kiss off over half of your profit just paying out to your partner, Uncle Sam. Of course, they're happy to, take it, and they do some good things with it. So that's fine if you want to support all that, but you're not obligated to pay those long and big taxes. You could actually hold that capital asset for longer than a year and a day, and suddenly your tax bracket on that particular amount of money that you made drops like a brick. Okay. Now, one quick thing, let me just make sure you understand. When you buy a stock, that's called basis. Okay. So if I buy a stock for $50, that's my basis in that stock. And that's for tax purposes. That's a tax basis. Now, if it goes up to 100, like the one I'm just talking about, if it doubles like that, then you don't have to pay taxes on the first 50 because that's your basis. What you have to pay taxes on is everything over your basis. So there's a $50 tax bill. Now, not a $50 tax bill, a $50 gain that goes into your taxes, either short-term gain or long-term gain. Now, if it goes into taxes as a short-term gain, like I say, you're going to pay like you just went down and worked. And that, for people who do a lot of active investing, I'm thinking particularly on the options that we do, we just treat it like a job. It's just, or you do it in your IRA, in which case, you can avoid some taxation that way. But basically, we treat it like a job. For everything else, we try to get over that year and a day because, man, think about it. If you were in a 56% tax bracket and you get long-term gains, suddenly that gets added to your taxes at about 15% to 20%. So depending on what bracket you're actually in, 15 to 20%. And man alive, that's a big difference, right? So if you got 50% taxation on $50, you get to keep 25 after taxes. You got 15% on $50, you get to keep $43 for tax after taxes. That's a gigantic difference. So we want to keep the government as much as possible out of the tax business here. So let's take a look at what I did in this particular case, because I'm telling you guys that we want capital gains at long-term capital gains, and they can even be, for some of you, 0% if you're in a low enough tax bracket. So in other words, if you're paying, if your tax rate is less than 15%, I think, if it's less than 15%, then you could qualify for 0% long-term capital gain rates, which is fantastic, okay? Now, what's the best way to go? Well, you're a ruler, right? So taxes on short-term gains, typically a non-issue for us because we're going to hold everything long-term. That's our theory anyway. That's what we expect to do, and that's what we try to do. But sometimes things are happening that might require that you sell a company before you've gotten there for a year. Now, what could those things be, right? The first thing it could be is this: the company's price, for whatever reason, has gone up so far above its intrinsic value that the possibility of it continuing to go higher or to stay there, in your opinion, is very low. Now, in this market, I don't know where things are going, so that's hard to say that, right? Things are just so crazy. But that's theoretically when we'd take the money. If the intrinsic value is, 30, 40% below the price that's selling for, might as well take those profits because it's very unlikely to just keep rocketing off. All right. I tell you that, and then I keep thinking about Chipotle Grill, where I sold it out way before it started to really take off, and I missed out on doubling the money from that point where I sold it. It's a mistake I made twice with Chipotle. Next time I get a chance, I am not going to screw that up. So this is kind of what you got to think about. The second thing is, did the story change? So we build a story around a company, and we want to understand that the company is still within the confines of that story. Everything's still true. Well, if something in the story changes and is no longer true, right? Management team has talent and integrity, and then we discover when there's an event, their integrity went right out the window, and they start to turn into traitors. Or even more likely, there's no event, and they just turn into traitors because they see an opportunity to start going out and being big shots and buying jets by having a bigger company. And they go out, a mouse tries to go out and swallow an elephant. That happens all the time, so that these guys can get a G5 jet. It's just so frustrating, and all you can do is sell. So take your money, walk away when the thing changes. What about the values of the business? What if you discover this business that you thought had really good values suddenly demonstrates that it does not, that the CEO is doing things to the employees or to the suppliers, to the environment, to the community that you abhor? I mean, you're seeing that, you're seeing the impact of politics certainly on representatives, right? And there's some real blowback on employees. So what do you think? I mean, do you think if a person's political views are extreme in one direction or the other, they should be fired? If the CEO doesn't like those political views, how do you view that, right? These are all value judgments that you have to determine for yourself, not based on what I think's right, not based on what Warren Buffett thinks, but what you think should happen out there. So, for example, do you think a company should stop advertising on a television channel that promotes very liberal values or very conservative values? Do you stop buying that stuff out of political? Values are very important, and I think we're seeing a lot about values in our community right now, right? So very important to be thinking about that right now. So when something changes in the story, then the most likely avenue we take from there, assuming the thing isn't better, right? It could be better, but assuming it's negative, the most likely channel, at least I take, is the path of least resistance. I can't fight it. I don't have enough power to change the CEO. So I'm going to just exit and go find a company that matches my values. And then the third time here's the third choice, is when you need the money for a better investment. And that's what I just went through with this. This thing has doubled. I think it's likely it could go up another 20%, but I need the money for another investment. This has already made it's already made 100% return, 102% actually, in 9 months. And I looked at the tax impact on all the people this would impact, and it turns out, this is in IRAs basically. So I thought, you know what, let's move this money to a more high velocity investment. So that's the three major times that you would choose to do that. Otherwise, long-term capital gains is the way we go. We never want to sell a great company. They're too hard to find, and you just guys go with that. So I'm just really curious. Have you ever, made a decision to go with, sell the thing quickly because it did well and take short-term gains? And does what I'm saying right here make you want to reconsider why you decided to sell the thing? Maybe not. Maybe so. Leave a comment below with your answer. I'll be sure to follow up with you. And thanks for watching, you guys. Now go play. Hey, if you enjoyed this video and you think it was valuable for teaching you more about capital gains, just hit the like button and share this video with your friends. And if you want more investing content, just subscribe to my channel. We got a lot there. And don't forget to click the button on the screen for a free gift. And thanks again for watching. See ya.